What's up, everybody? It's your boy CEO Dylan. Starting my vlog in 2022. I really should start this like a year ago when I was doing TURO. For those of y'all that don't know what TURO is, it's like a rental car service where you rent your cars. So I had about 10 cars on TURO, and when I tell y'all that was the craziest time of my life, everything happened. Like, I went from 10 cars to 0 cars, people hitting my cars, people putting diesel in the car. I had a sheet in the car that says premium gas only, and they put diesel in the car. Buying a brand new car, and the first guest got in an accident and the car was in the shop for months. It was just crazy. But yeah, I'm starting my vlog in 2022. 2 months ago, I was not living here. I moved to Houston like a year ago, and when I moved, I had a penthouse. And a lot of people don't know this, I went broke last year. I literally lost everything. I went from making 40K a month to like barely making $1. I was not making any money. Life got hard. I went through a lot of pain. A lot of people didn't know what I was going through because I don't really share a lot of things like that. But that's why I'm starting my vlog, you know, for those that only know me based off what you see on social media and stuff. Now I get to show you my everyday life, you know, things that have happened or is happening and things that I also go through and stuff. So yeah, y'all follow me on this journey in 2022. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's get this going, guys. 2022 is gonna be an amazing year, and I got so much to share, but we're definitely gonna start with how I went broke, right? So I went broke last year for plenty of reasons, guys. It wasn't just TURO. I mean, it was a lot of stuff that happened, things that some I could not control, some of the things I could control. Just overall, it was a crazy year. I invested like 100K into 2 or 3 businesses last year, and 2 or 3 of those businesses went to 0. It was crazy, right? I really want to focus on TURO because that was really the main one. I started a TURO business. At the time, I only had 1 vehicle, and I was going to rent that car out of TURO, right? So I started like, I want to say December 2020. I moved to Houston in October. So part of the reason I moved to Houston was to expand my businesses. I wanted to do more things, and I felt like there were more opportunities in Houston than where I'm from. So I left, and one thing I knew I was going to start was TURO, or like renting my car out, you know. So when I started with my 1 car, that first month went so well. I made double what I paid on the car, and I still had a few days in the month where I drove the car, but it was booked for like half of the month, right? And it made my car note, my car payments, my insurance, and gave me some extra money. So I was like, wow, like I just made my car note and more money. I need more cars, you know, like if I have more cars, I can make more money. So I was on the mission. In a matter of 3-4 months, I went from 1 car to 10 cars. And what people don't realize, and what I didn't realize, was I have 10 problems now. That's gonna bring more problems, right? Because now you gotta worry about this car. Like, you have to be responsible for this car and everything that happens to it. No matter who damaged the car, right? It don't matter if it's the guest or it was you. You have 10 car notes, right? And the car notes and insurance, like I said, those were no problem because you are gonna make that every month. So that was not even an issue. The issues that I didn't foresee, because you know, most of the time when you start a business, you are in control of if it fails or not. But there are certain factors of TURO that you're not in control of, and that could affect your business and cause your business to fail. So I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way by finding out after I bought 10 cars, right? I bought 10 cars, and then first things first, when people drive your car, they drive crazy. Like, you don't even know how people drive. Most people that come to Houston, especially in like their 20s, 30s, they're coming here to party, right? They're coming here to have a good time. So that means that they're gonna most likely be drunk at some point or drinking at some point, right? They may not be drunk driving, but they're gonna be drinking at some point, so they're gonna be a little turned, you know, lit, whatever. Stuff like that you cannot control. Stuff like that you can't control, but you gotta realize people like that, when they drive your car, they don't care how they drive, you know, because what happens to your car does not affect them. It don't affect their everyday life no more. Once they leave Houston, it's over with, right? So that's your problem now. I have people renting my cars and driving crazy and bringing the cars back, floating out tires, rotors messed up. What else happened? Bro know a lot of what happened because
windshield.
Right, that was one of the first things you experienced, right? Because I started TURO in December, but I got some help. He came and helped me out in June. He knows a lot of the stuff that also happened. Like, what was the first thing that happened when you got here, bro?
The window got smashed at the address, man.
At the address, that's the club. They smashed the window. So
man, what else, man? It was just all
that we got lucky because that guest they paid for the window, right?
Yeah, she did, but that actually not the first thing. It was, you remember when I was telling you them dudes? You remember the dude that booked the 3 Series, bro?
The red one.
No, the black one.
Yeah. And they smoked out the car
and they hit the rim.
Brand new BMW 2020 Series 3. I bought that like $5K down, right? Digital dashboard, man. This car was like sparkling, like all black leather interior. So the first person that books the car, man, they had it for about a week. So,
all I remember is the dudes pulling up. I remember telling you, I said, I wouldn't even look at that car.
Right, you did right. They pulled up in a bus down, in a busted car. So he was like, bro, I wouldn't even rent to them. You know, I'm like, man, I can't really cancel now because that's gonna mess up my rating. Like, your ratings are a really big thing when you do TURO. I didn't want to cancel on him. I let him get the car. I didn't think much of it. You know, I don't try to judge a book by its cover. So he brought the car back a week later, man. This was the first guest. Smoked out. The car is smoked out, completely smoked out. It don't matter what we did, that car smelled like weed. And all our guests after that complained about the smell of that car. And even though we tried everything, that smell would never go away. The dude just smoked out the car for a week straight. That was not even the worst part. The rims, like what, 3 of them?
Yeah, man, 3.
Was chipped or like scratched, like looked like bent. And the insurance we had on the wheels, lifetime insurance, guess what? That shit was a scam. AutoNation, they told us we bought an extra package with the car, $2,000 for lifetime tire and warranty. When we took the wheels to them, the whole time it was bent, they were like, if it's not leaking air, we can't replace it. So here we are with bent wheels on the car. I was stuck with that car for a few months with the bent wheels, fighting insurance, because fixing the wheels was gonna cost me more if I already paid a warranty on it, right? We eventually paid and got the wheels repaired, right? Because we just finally got tired of waiting. So even with that, the car was still, what? They were still saying the wheels were bent?
No, it was the struts.
The struts, right. So then boom, the control arm and the struts. That's something that you can't even know is messed up till you take to the dealership. So TURO covers body damage, whatever, but how are you gonna know your struts are messed up in time to file a claim, right? So they don't really cover mechanical damages like that unless you can prove that a guest did it within 24 hours of you receiving that car back. So we had struts that were messed up and control on a car that just cost me almost $7K to get, right? So it just was like, that's the BMW. Then the Corvette, you got here after the Corvette happened. I bought a brand new Corvette. That car cost me a good like $12K down payment. Then you gotta pay for, I paid 6 months of insurance. Insurance was like $1K a month. 6 months of insurance. So I paid all that. First guest, it was a couple, a married couple. It was their anniversary. They rent out the car. They're texting me later on. They're like, we love the car, whatever. So I'm like, cool, y'all be safe, you know. Next thing I know, they're calling me like a few hours later. I think they got in an accident, somehow hit the curb or something happened. Like the car had body damage. I'm gonna put the damages right here. So the car had body damage, all kinds of damages. Like That car's been in the shop since then, literally. So that was like 25K down the drain. Cause I pay a car note on that car every month. And I don't have the car. It hasn't made me a dime since I put all that money on it. So that happened, I want to say May 6th, right? May 6th. Then we bought the BMWs that same month, the BMWs and the Infiniti. The first guest with the BMW does what he did. He's probably the one bent the rim. That happened. So I've already lost what? That's already about, we're gonna count up, guys. Let's see how much money Dylan lost. So we're gonna count it up. So now, the next car I want to say was, so much happened that we cannot pinpoint exactly everything. Like the Audi went down like 20 times. Like first, before you even got here, somebody hit the door. That was like 2K to fix. Right? Yeah, posted that. Then when you got here, I think somebody went to a club. They had hit a window, the side window, broke a window and stole out of the car. Then it got hit again. That same side, or I think that same door got hit again. And then the front got hit.
And then when I got here, they tore the sunroof out.
Yeah, they tore the sunroof, right. Some people rented the car out, tore the sunroof, and smoked out the car and returned it with basically no sunroof. That right there cost a lot of money, so we'll count it up. After that, I want to say the Tesla came about. We didn't have no issues with the Tesla. Honestly, the Tesla was probably the only car that we had no issues with. So that car, it was cool, but I eventually stopped doing TURO, so I didn't rent out my Tesla no more because I wasn't gonna let somebody hit the car before I learned my lesson. After I don't have, 9 other cars go down. Now the X3, we bought the X3. I had a partner on the X3. He sent the X3 after he bought it, and literally what? I want to say like the first month of us having that car, that was right before Labor Day weekend. So that was like in June. When the Audi went down, we had to make adjustments and we gave the X3 to somebody, but the X3 got booked. So when we had realized that we had to, the people was already at the airport. When we realized that that car was booked, we were driving to go get food. The guest is at the airport with their kids, 2 kids, his wife, and himself, right? So we're like, bro, we gotta go give him this car we're in. So we go pull up, give him the car we're in.
We gave him the 3 Series.
Yeah, the 3 Series, right? They're upset because the car is small, but we explained everything to them. We're like, we're gonna go get y'all's car right now from the airport because it was already brought back, and then we're gonna bring it to you. We offered them lunch money for them and their family, right, to go have lunch while we go do that and come right back. So they were pretty cool, I cannot lie. That was actually one of the only times I completely dropped the ball on like my bookings because we stayed on top of it. We already knew every time when the car was booked. We go get that car from the airport, we bring it to them. We explained to them what happened. We told them we had mixed up the bookings was because somebody had booked the Audi and we had to replace, and the Audi got hit. So we had to replace it with the X3. Before their trip was over, guess what? They got hit. They got hit that same week.
They got hit bringing it back.
They got hit bringing the car back. So boom, there's the second car down in a week. That's the X3. What else went down that month? The red car? Yeah, so the next thing we know, we had a car. This is another car that my partner got and sent to me with the X3. So the X3 went down within a month. The second car he sent with the X3 goes down. This time, this girl from Chicago, she rented the car. And at this time, we had already put them sheets in the car, right? So we had sheets in the car that tells you exactly what type of gas goes in the car and other things like bring the car back clean, fill it up before you return, no smoking. Boom. She calls me like right before her trip is about to end that the car cut off. She was like, she just left the gas station and she thinks she put the wrong gas. I was like, what did you put? Right. I was like, what did you put? Because I have a gas paper in the car that tells you exactly what to put. She said she put diesel in the gas tank. And I'm like, how? Because it's a BMW. From my understanding after the situation, apparently people in Chicago don't pump their own gas. That she didn't know, so she looked at the cap on the car and it said diesel. But that car had a whole sheet that says premium gas. So I'm not sure where the confusion came. So boom, the third car goes down. These are all things that happen out of our control that we had to suffer for. All them accidents or mistakes were 5 to 10K damages. So
got hit in the parking lot at Walmart.
exactly. He brought it back right when it was booked again by somebody else, but it was damaged. We cannot give a damaged car. So now I'm losing money. I gotta pay these car notes. My car's gotta sit down. I still gotta pay insurance on them. I'm not making no money. They're in the shop and they're losing value. Keep in mind, every time your car gets hit, guys, and you go through insurance and do a claim, your car is gonna lose value because of damages. Your car is gonna lose value because of the damages. Now, when you go resell that car, it's gonna have an accident on the accident report, on the Carfax. And now you cannot ask a dealership to pay what the car is worth if they say it's been in an accident before, right? You cannot. You gotta take some kind of loss on that. You know, that's gonna bring the value down. That was the first way I lost money and went broke on TURO. Man, the Avalon, like, that was crazy. Like, the dude damaged the car, but he trashed the car. That car was nasty. The guy, some guy booked it, Johnny. We never forget Johnny.
Man, let me tell you.
Tell Johnny.
Man, y'all, look, check this out, man. All right, so it was a country white dude named Johnny, man. And basically, Johnny was already late bringing the car back, and he was basically stalling and bringing it back. And he was basically telling us, oh, yeah, we're going to bring it back.
We had left the house at like 1 a.m. to go meet Johnny, and Johnny never showed up. And he didn't bring the car back until 12 hours after the trip was over. And at this point, we was going to call the police on Johnny. And then TURO told us to wait. They said just give him some hours.
Give him some hours, man. This thing that been years. But dang, Johnny. And then after all the time of waiting, Johnny to come back, we blowing him up. We down there, we threatened to call the police on him and everything. And he finally brought the car back. But when he brought the car back, he did not tell us he brought it back until after he left. He knew if he would have told us that the car was back, if he was outside when he brought the car back, it was gonna be over for him.
Tell him how the car showed back up.
Man,
I saw this shit. I couldn't even believe it. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
I just remember him calling me and he said, bro, go look at the car, man. He said, go look at the car, man. Then I said, oh man, I'm already knowing. And then I went outside.
When I said that, he already knew what time it was.
And I went outside and looked at the car, man, and first thing I seen was the car was on a donut. The car was on a donut. Then I went and looked in the front of the car. He done ran into the curb and the bumper hanging down. And then the final finale, I looked inside of the car. He was like, y'all know when somebody chews tobacco and they spit inside of a cup, right. They dip, they spit it in a cup, and like he just wasted it all over the seat. And it was chips, cigarette packs, tobacco cans, cigarette packs, liquor bottles.
He was living in the car.
Living in the car.
And then what's funny, when he had rented the car, he had asked me, can he do
DoorDash
in the car?
I don't know what kind of DoorDash, redneck DoorDash or something, man. Cause bro, he brought that car back totally trash, man. Like, it was so disgusting inside of that car, man. Like, that's the worst.
And this is things building on each other, like, every week, every day. Like, we don't know what's going to happen next.
For real.
And I think after the Avalon, that's kind of when we took a little step back from TURO. Yeah. TURO is not going to pay anything that's under your deductible. So if your deductible is $500 or $250, anything that costs less than that and people damage, you got responsible for that. So they didn't cover the tires. I had to pay for that. Most of the cars sat in the shop for months.
Yeah, for real.
So we got them back in like August, September, and that's when we started selling cars and stuff like that.
It was just a lot of stuff, man. Everybody just recommend y'all. That's why everybody promoting. They just want to sell y'all a course now, man. I'm telling y'all, TURO is not what you think.
Yeah. And what's crazy, I made my TURO course in September, and a lot of people don't know. I've been told this story on my TURO course. I let people make their own decisions when it comes to TURO. I don't think it's a bad business. I just think the risk is too crazy for me, because now you're dealing with things that are out of your control, and your business could fail and you could lose a lot of money. I went from 10 cars to no car. In some months I was making money, but it was going right back into the car, because damages, like other expenses, that maintenance. You know, I had 10 car washes, 10 parking spots that I was paying for, like 10 oil changes, except for the Tesla. Like things like that take money out of you that you don't really see. And they do it pretty often, and you might lose every month and barely survive, you know. So I got rid of my cars quick once I realized that I was playing a losing rate. TURO cost me a good 100K last year, and I lost hella money behind TURO, and that was part of the reason I went broke last year. Anybody that got my course, you already know all of this. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience. This is how it goes. So every day we'll have a schedule on the TURO app, because you can see all your booking. You know what car is booked, when it's going out, where it's going to, and when it's coming back. So when I started TURO and I only had like 1 or 2 or 3 cars, it was easier to keep up with it because it was just 1 or 2 or 3 cars. I never had cars that were booked on top of each other, or I had to be 2 places at one time. I didn't have a job, so I was always at home. So most of the time, if my car was booked from home, I was already at home, I could just deliver it to the guest or have the guest come pick it up, whatever the case was. And I always kept my cars clean. So it wasn't too stressful, but it was very demanding. It didn't matter what I was doing, because the way I had my settings, you could book my car 3 hours before you needed it. I'll be at home, it's like 12, and then boom, my car is booked for 3 at the airport. I gotta get up and go to the airport. If that car is not clean, I gotta go to the car wash. I gotta make sure it's clean. I gotta make sure it's full of gas. I gotta make sure everything on the car is right. And then I go drop it off. And that takes hours. Houston is so big and so populated. Something in Houston that is not too far away from you, like a few miles, could be 30 to 40 minutes. You never know, depending on traffic. Sometimes those 3 hours I was giving myself was not even enough time to get the car to them on time. Just imagine how busy I was, right? Like, it was crazy. Insane. But like I said, the cars were paying for themselves, so I wasn't mad, because it's like working a job. I've been a hard worker, so I was working for myself, so I didn't even care about the work. When I started realizing, like, oh, I was losing money, because now when I have cars that are at the airport, I have 3 cars that are returned to the airport. That's 3 Ubers I gotta take, drive the car back, Uber, go get the next one, drive back, Uber, go get the next one in. So one time I had went and dropped off a car, and the Uber back was what I made on the trip. So when I had to go pick up the car, that was a loss. Like, I'm spending money to go pick up a car I just rented out, because the money I was supposed to make on that car, I had spent it on the Uber to get home when I dropped it off. That's when I realized, yeah, it's definitely time to get some help. I had to get some help, because if I could have just somebody else that could drive and do other things, it would be easier for me to get my cars to the airport and back and not have to spend money on Uber. So I had one person reach out to me and basically tell me that they want to come to Houston and do the same thing I'm doing, and they could start by helping me out. I was like, bet, let's do it. So now I got some help. I finally got some help. That's when shit started getting crazy. I had bought 3 new cars before the help came, so I was at 6 cars now. So now, like, the work is crazier, right? There was no way I could do the work by myself, so the help came right on time. Our day-to-day life, you wanna tell them? Like, I know it was crazy because you came in, like, that shit was quick.
Yeah, man, so day-to-day life on TURO, I'm back again, I'm cooking again. The day-to-day life on TURO, man, it was a lot, but I kind of liked it, you know what I'm saying? Because it always had me something to do, because mostly before I started doing it, you know what I'm saying, I was just basically trading, and I just had to figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. So after I got done trading, shoot, now I have something to do. So basically the day consists of washing cars, and shoot, just know it ain't just you just taking one trip, you taking about 4, 5, 6. And I used to be taking like 4 or 5 trips to the car wash. They knew me well at the car wash. They knew when I was coming, and that washing cars, taking them to get maintenance, dealing with the problem with the guests, picking them up, dealing with rude guests, dealing with all types of stuff, man. And a lot of people don't know, this is more so of a customer service job, so you dealing with people. Yeah. So it's always something new to expect. You never know who you're gonna meet. I done met some good people too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot. But it was kind of smooth because it give you experience and it just made stuff exciting because you never know what to expect.
You gotta realize that you're gonna have cars booked at any hours of the day. You're gonna have to run to the car wash at any hours of the day. You might have to take it to maintenance or to the mechanic any hours of the day. You might get called that your car is somewhere, you gotta go pick it up at any hour of the day. Was the lady with the diesel, was that in the morning? Was that early? That was like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
She was like put diesel in the car at 5 a.m. in the morning, y'all. And she called my phone because she's stuck.
And the same thing with the X3, you did us up early.
Right, it was 7
a.m. Right.
Right, starting the day off right with some BS. So every day it was like, all right, this morning we don't got nothing crazy, so we like, cool. Then some days the BS started. And immediately you open your eyes before like you got woke up with BS. I want to say TURO was going good the first couple months, and then once I scaled up, everything went left. I lost so much money, like the down payments, the repairs, all the little stuff I had to fix, the car washes, the parking. Guests would not put gas in my car, and sometimes I have to take the loss on it. Like they'll, dirty the car. I gotta buy stuff to clean it out because the car wash wasn't doing that great of a job. Man, it was just crazy, the day-to-day life. If I was vlogging last year, y'all would have actually got a first-hand experience of it, but like you guys are getting his first-hand experience because he jumped into this not knowing what he was jumping into. He was just coming to help me out, and at the time the help was needed, and I was like, we're finally gonna be able to get stuff done now and not stress. And then boom, cars started getting hit back to back to back. We were getting damages on cars every week, but when I say hit, I mean cars that had to sit down for months or weeks. I want to say the first 3 cars got hit in June. That was like a month right after we got here. That was crazy, man. If you are doing TURO now, you already know that this is all facts, no cap in my rap. But if you're looking at getting to TURO, I recommend starting small, 1, 2 cars, 3 at the most, and do not expand unless you have a plan if things go left. All right, so let's move forward to the next part. Now, once I realized the business was not what I wanted to do no more, I was losing money. The longer I held on to these cars, I was like, all right, I gotta get rid of these cars now, ASAP. I was so ready for these cars to go. I didn't care who wanted the car. As long as you had the money, come get it. The first car I sold was the Benz, the GLA. That car, I lost like less than 2K on that car. Cause this is how you lose selling a car. And most of the cars I bought were financed. I financed these cars, so when you finance a car, you owe the bank. Even though I put down payments on these cars and I've been paying them, I still owe the bank. When you want to sell a car, before you can sell it, you need the title, and before you can get the title, the car gotta be paid off. So when you go to sell a car, and let's say you owe X amount of dollars, right? But the person buying it is offering you less than what you owe in the car. Now you have to pay that difference in order to sell that car, right then and there. To make that transaction, you have to pay the difference. So if I would walk into a dealership, hey, I have a car, they'll appraise the car and they check the car out, and boom, they tell me, all right, this is what we think the car is worth. So when I went to go sell the Benz, I had to take a loss on that because they were offering me less than what I owed on it. I didn't care because, like I said, keeping those cars would cost me more. So I was like, fuck it. I'd rather take a loss and get rid of you and this problem and all the problems you bring rather than keep you, right? Because people don't realize those cars were making me money, but they were bringing different problems every day that you cannot control. Like, think about problems like every day from a different car, and it was just a headache. I was ready for these cars to go. Sold the Benz, took a loss. That's about 2K, let's say. We sold the Audi, we took a loss on that. That was like 1,500 to 2K. After we sold the Audi and the Benz, now, my mom, I gave her the Infiniti. That car we bought, we put like 5K down on it. It's paperwork and all that was like 2 more K. That was a loss. We just had to say, all right, we're keeping that car, right? So that was a loss. Then we got rid of the X3. My partner got that car back. We got rid of the car they put diesel in the same month. Like once it got out the shop, that car was gone. That's probably the first car we sold, I want to say. That was the first car we sold. So not only did I lose money on down payments and all the problems that came with those cars for the months I had them, I lost money selling them too. Overall, I lost over 100K, but I want to say that it was worth it. Sometimes failure is part of success, right? It's not sometimes, all the time. Failure is part of success. So just because I failed doing that does not mean that I can't succeed doing something else, right? But at least I took a shot, you know, at least I tried it. And I read this quote recently from Denzel Washington that says, if you've never failed before, you've never tried. You know, so sometimes, you know, that's just what it takes, man. Sometimes you lose some, you win some, you know. So that was my experience with TURO, guys. I'm glad that you guys tuned in to my vlog. We're gonna be back next week with another one. We're just gonna, you know, keep it real. Like, this is rich off pain, man. Like, a lot of things happened during the year that I was not talking about, that I did not share. Nobody knew. I know you guys saw all the greatness and all the giveaways and the donations and the free game and, you know, the advice and the generosity and everything I did. I'm a good person before anything. Well, whether I'm up or down, I'm always gonna be a good person, right? So even though I was going through all my trials and tribulations and all my losses, I still found a way to make the best out of it and still give back and still try to help the community. So you guys stay tuned for the next vlog. I'm gonna be back next week with a whole nother video. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Shout out all my people, man. Y'all know what's up with me.